Today I've got some very easy and affordable patriotic DIYs for you. Let's get started. For this first one, I'm using 2 of these 5-gallon paint stir sticks. I get mine from Walmart in a pack of 3 for $1. I made myself a template out of some chipboard, and just to make it easy, I used my miter shears to score a line in the chipboard at a 45-degree angle and then cut that template out, and I made it 2 inches long, and I just wanted to make sure that each marking on my paint stir stick here was the same length. So I'm just showing you here how you could make yourself a template. You don't have to have a miter saw. You can use miter shears to to score the wood, and to use some a utility knife to score the wood over and over to where it'll break off, and then you can sand it smooth. Also, if you have a very small one of these chop saws from Harbor Freight, you could use that as well. I have it just barely off camera there. But what I did is I went out and used my husband's miter saw to cut these. I'm going to make another star out of some tumbling tower blocks, and I'm just going by the ends, the corners of the actual block themselves. I'm just taking and using my miter shears to cut a 45-degree cut on each end of those. I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the colors Crimson, Ivory, and I believe Ocean Blue. For the red and the blue, I'm going to take a little bit of the Truffle chalk paint by Waverly just to tone down the sort of brightness of the red and the blue to give it a more rustic vibe. So I have 8 of the paint stir stick pieces and 8 of the tumbling tower blocks. I'm just showing you here the different configurations, but I ended up doing the second configuration with the tumbling tower blocks, and there's the configuration I did with the paint stir stick pieces. But on each of them I did 4 white, 2 blue, and 2 red, but all that is totally up to you, how you make the style of your stars and the colors that you use. You could also paint some little white stars on the blue parts. There's so many different things that you could do, but I did sand the edges of all of the pieces. To give it a more rustic look, I'm going to come back with some Waverly Antique Wax to darken up those edges, but it looks really nice this way as well without darkening it up. But I'm just using wood glue to put all of these together. And you don't have to put these on stands. You could attach hangers to them, or just lean them, or put little feet on them so they'll stand up. But I decided I wanted them to be on stands, and there's several things you could use for a stand. I have these wood rounds that already have a hole in them, so I'm going to use one of those for the larger star, and then this little photo frame that has a stand. That photo frame portion just pops right off of there, and I'm going to use that for the smaller star. but I was just showing the wooden stars that they sell at Dollar Tree would make a great base since this is a patriotic DIY. But I'm going to use a wooden dowel. I believe I got these wooden dowels at Walmart, but they do sell wooden dowels at Dollar Tree as well. I'm just going to use wood glue to attach these stars to their stands. Once that glue's set up, I just took some Antique Wax by Waverly, and I'm going to water it down some. I'm just going to stain all of the bare wood on both these pieces, and also getting in between the pieces on the stars where I sanded the edges. This next one is super easy and super cheap too. I'm just taking one of these mini wood pallet signs from the Dollar Tree, as well as some of these wood cutout stars from the Dollar Tree, actually just one of those. And I'm going to paint the pallet with the same paint that I used on the last project, the red and blue, both with some brown paint mixed in to warm those colors up a little bit. And I'm just going to, on this wood cutout, so that it'll pop against the blue color, I'm going to just go around the edges and highlight the edges there of the star, as well as the little piece in the center with a tiny paintbrush, just to make this stand out and pop on that blue corner up there. I'm doing the same thing I did on the stars, so these two pieces, the first DIY and this DIY, match each other very well using the same paint colors and the same technique, but I'm just going to take some of that watered down antique wax again and go over where I sanded, and this is totally optional. just however you like it and how, whatever matches the style in your home. I at first tried using some regular super glue to attach the star, but that didn't work out so well. I think if I had gel super glue that it would have worked better, but I just had regular super glue. So I used some E6000, and anywhere that I got excess glue, I just painted over that. Just did some touch-up painting to take away the shine of any glue that got outside of the underneath of that star. For this DIY, I'm taking one of these flags from the Dollar Tree, and I wish that I had gotten one of the smaller ones. For some reason, I only got they have really large ones, mediums, and very small, and I wish I would have got the very small ones for this project. But I just took a X-Acto knife and I just carefully cut along the edges there because they are glued to their plastic dowels, just a little bit of glue, but they won't just slip right off of their flagpole. So once I got that removed, I just set it in some warm coffee for about an hour to try to stain it a little bit. I printed out, I just searched for the Declaration of Independence, and I printed a portion of it out on some craft paper and Mod Podged that to the base. You can see here that the flag, there wasn't much of a difference. I think because of these flags being sort of plasticky. I'm not sure what type of thread they use to sew these, but it's something that isn't very absorbent, and I was afraid of that. You can see that along the side there, it stained a good bit, but the flag itself barely was stained at all by the coffee, but it's okay. It's enough of a difference that it's not super bright. And I like how it turned out okay, but I think maybe a higher quality flag might stain, tea stain or coffee stain just a little bit better. I'm going to be replacing the plastic dowel with a wooden dowel that I stained with a little bit of antique wax, watered down some, and then I'm going to glue the flag to the wooden dowel, and you can see here that the dowel that's wooden is a little bit bigger than the plastic dowel was. So I'm just going to have to patch that with a piece of trim that is closely colored to the already edge trim piece on the edge of this flag. I'm just going to put a piece of masking tape on the bottom of my wood round to keep the hot glue from seeping out the bottom, and then I'm going to stick the flag there in the hole, and any excess glue that comes out the top there, I'm just scraping it off with that finger protector, that silicone finger protector. And if you make a mess when you do this, you could go around the bottom of that flagpole with some twine. They have this red and blue twine from the Dollar Tree that you could use, but I felt like I liked the look of it. I got that glue cleaned up pretty good, and I think it looks good just the way it is. That's it for this one. If you like these DIYs, click that thumbs up and consider subscribing. It helps my channel out so much. I'd love to know which one of these crafts were your favorite, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. See you guys in the next one.